everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca, Stu, and the Crew. I hope you guys have had a nice holiday week. Today we're going to be making this Dollar Tree DIY and going over a craft kit from Dollar Tree. So let's go over our supplies for the very first project. First, we're going to use the Crafter Square Boho Craft Kit. We're also going to be using some other supplies to help put it together, like some hot glue, scissors, floral wire. Also, these dog nail clippers will help cut through some of the wire, and some different floral pieces of your choice, and some ribbon. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all of the pieces from the kit. So it comes with a wire frame, and then you get a bunch of felt leaves, berries, and a suede hanger. We're going to separate the leaves, and we're going to try to put this together just like the package shows. There are no directions, just these felt leaves that are on some wire. So we're just going to try to put it together as the packaging shows the picture. So all we're going to do is take these darker green leaves, and we're going to wrap it around the wire frame. We'll put one on the left and one on the right. I noticed with the larger leaves, it was really hard to get them to sit where they would be in front of the wire frame. So that's where the floral wire that I just had from Dollar Tree already came in handy. I cut a long strip of the floral wire, and I start attaching this large leaf piece to the frame. So I just wrap it around, and I make sure I go down and in between each section of leaves, making sure that I wasn't tying the big leaf portions down flat. Like I made sure that they were still sticking out, and just going to the in-between spots where the stem was at to help hold it together, but then disguise the wire underneath of the leaves. And that way you can tie it on there without having to try to get it to hot glue on. I don't think hot glue would work real well on the wire frame. It will work when we put the berries on, but to actually take the felt and glue it right to the wire, a lot of times if it's cold, the wire or any kind of metal won't really take the hot glue real well, and it'll want to lift up or peel, or pieces will fall off pretty quickly over time. So it's always best to try to avoid putting hot glue directly on those wire frames. So once I get the second set of leaves attached on the opposite side, we'll go in with the medium green leaves, just like the packaging shows. So what I do is I use the stem to the leaves, and I tie that around the frame, and then I take an additional piece of wire, and that's what I use to help tie the leaves to the frame, as you see here. So I'm just using the stem that came with it. I wrap that around until there wasn't any wire left, and then a small little piece of floral wire, I'll tie the top portion of the leaves to the frame to help hold it in place as we layer these leaves on top of each other. Now the leaves that go right in the center, this is probably the easiest ones to put on. So I just like hold them together in the center, and then I take a piece of wire, I wrap that right around the middle to tie them together, but I leave a long piece of wire at the top and the bottom, and then just kind of bend the leaves so that they curve a little bit, so that they'll fit really nicely along the bottom of the frame. Then we'll flip this over, and that wire that I cut a little bit long, we can use that to tie this right to the frame in the middle. And I didn't add any additional wire to this. I felt like that held it on fairly well, and it wasn't going to need any more wire to hold the pieces down along the front there. It held quite nicely like this. So then the last four pieces are just these white pom-poms that look like berries. I didn't like the wire, how it was white. I didn't think it looked nice wrapped around the frame, so I cut those off with those dog nail clippers, and then just used some hot glue to attach the berries. And I decided that I was going to add some more flowers to this, so I kind of planned out where my flowers were going to go, and then I avoid putting the pom-pom berries where the flowers are going to go, so I'm not hiding them. I wanted to be able to see them. even after I add the flowers in. But this is all that comes with the kit. Of course, you've got the suede hanger that you would attach to the top. But if you put this together as is, this is what it will look like, especially if you follow the directions right on the front, just the picture example. But I'm going to go ahead and add some flowers. I thought it needed a little bit more oomph. So I have a few small roses, really any flowers you have on hand will do. I am going to just cut the stem back and then add hot glue and glue these flowers right to the felt. It sticks quite nicely to the felt. Again, I wouldn't use hot glue directly on the wire frame, but if you're just layering flowers onto the felt, then the hot glue will work really nicely here. So I do that light peachy pink kind of flower in the middle, and then 2 light pink off-white flowers on either side of that peach colored rose. And I just center those at the bottom. Then I had some berries, or these little white, like berries on a stem that I had from an old floral section that I just kind of kept. I always keep the scraps if I've got some extra flowers. And what I'll do is I'll just cut these apart off of the stem, and then we can glue these sporadically throughout the wreath just to make it look almost like baby's breath. You can see how nicely these dog nail clippers cut through the wire stems. They also work really nice to cut through dowel rods. And then we'll just glue these little berries along the sides. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I was trying to keep it pretty balanced. Whatever I, would do to the left, I would do on the right side, just to keep it really nicely balanced and the floral kind of evened out on both sides. So one side didn't get a little too heavy with the flowers, and then the other side looked a little bare. So I always work from side to side when I'm doing flowers. And then I had these few little fluffy white stems. I decided to add a few of those. Again, that was just a scrap from some old flower arranging that I did on old craft projects. I always just keep the extras, and then I can piece them together in other projects. And we'll just attach those with hot glue as well. And then we'll add the hanger to the top and a small bow to the bottom. And this is just some Dollar Tree yarn, or ribbon, I'm sorry. It's the sheer ribbon that they carry. I just made a very simple small bow, and I glue that to the center. And this is what the whole thing looks like all put together. And of course, like I said, we have to add the hanger. So we're just going to fold it in half, tie it in a knot. And then we'll just loop this around in like a slip knot on the wire frame to hang it. And I just love how this turned out. I love that you can pretty much make it as is and then make it your own if you like by adding the flowers. So that's our first project. I think it was a really great craft kit. I definitely would buy that again. For our second project, we'll need a Valentine's Day tea towel. We'll need some heat bond. It is a hem adhesive. I picked that up at Walmart. A wood pencil cup or something to put the dowel rod in. We'll need some floral foam, scissors, hot glue, a craft knife, and then I'm also going to be using these table scatters as stickers, some baker's twine of your choice, and an iron. And then I'll use a little bit of polyfill. You could also use cotton balls. Again, the dog nail clippers to cut through some of the dowel rods. We'll need 1 dowel rod and a laser cut craft icon. I'm going to use a heart. We're also going to use some Dollar Tree ribbon and some flowers. So let's get crafty putting this all together. We're going to take the Valentine's Day Gnome tea towel and we're going to just cut this in half. And we're going to use 1/2 for the second project, and our third project we will use the other half of that towel. So make sure you hold on to that. So then I just fold the towel over so that I make sure that I've got a double-sided towel here. And as you can see, it doesn't have to go all the way over. I just want to make sure that the material is doubled where the gnome is at. We're going to take a pencil and just sketch around the gnome about an inch away from the edge of the gnome. And this will be the markings that we're going to use to cut this with. Now, the portion of the towel that is folded, you won't want to cut all the way down. You don't need to cut all the way down to cut it out. You'll go ahead and leave that attached, and it'll make it easier to put the whole thing together when we're done and line it up. So once you have your lines drawn to cut around the gnome, you're just going to go ahead and make sure it stays lined up. If you have to move it at all, but just cut the towel with your scissors. We're just cutting out the gnome and leaving basically like a hem around the outside of it, which is about an inch of extra material. And as you can see right in the middle, we left that together. We didn't cut it completely apart. So you'll want to iron this flat. It'll just help it to go together a little bit neater. And then we will iron these with the right sides together. So the gnome, we're going to fold this over and glue it using this heat bond tape together. So I'm just taking little pieces of the heat bond tape and placing it around the border that we left that was wider than the gnome. And you just want to make sure you get it as close to the edge as possible. Then you're going to fold your cloth in half, iron the edges until it's glued down, let it cool, and then flip your little gnome right side. Then you can stuff it with your polyfill. So this is completely glued together now. And we're just stuffing it with the polyfill and using a dowel rod to help get the polyfill all the way up to the top of that hat. So when you're ironing this together with that heat bond tape, you want to make sure that you're not going too far in, because you don't want to glue the gnome so that when you fold it right side, that, you know, half of them's missing. So make sure you really keep that heat bond tape to the border of the towel so that when you glue it together and flip it to the right side, you can see all of his little outfit and everything. So then once it's completely full of polyfill, we glue that dowel rod into the middle, use some floral wire to tie it nice and tight around the dowel rod, and go ahead and leave that extra towel down at the bottom. And then we're making a very simple bow using some Dollar Tree ribbon. We'll take an extra piece and we're going to glue that around the center to hide that floral wire. And once that's completely glued all the way around to hide the wire, then we'll add the bow. We'll cut the little tassels here on the bow so that they have that cute little dovetail. And then taking one of those laser cut icons, I have a heart. We're going to glue that to the center of the bow just to help dress it up a little bit. And then that table scatter, those glitter table scatters, we'll glue one right to the middle of the craft laser cut icon. I made a small bow for the top of the hat. I glue that on, add another table scatter heart, and then I take one more table scatter heart, and I'm going to glue this on top of the heart that he's holding just to layer it, give it a little bit more sparkly detail. So now taking that wooden pencil cup, we're going to take a small bit of craft foam. We're going to cut that down to size and just fill in the cup with the foam until it's nice and tight. We've got it all filled in, so we're able to put our gnome in there and some flowers. So then I took some wide glitter ribbon that I just had, and we're going to cut a piece long enough to go all the way around the pencil cup. And we're just going to glue this on. So you'll need some various size ribbons from Dollar Tree. And of course, that's optional if you want to add the ribbon to the pencil cup. We'll take some more of those table scatter hearts and we're going to glue them around the pencil cup. I'm basically gluing on 4 of them. I do 1 on each side and use those as my guide. And then I glue them 2 more, 1 on each side, basically making like an X pattern. So there's 4 all together. I try to keep them in the center as much as possible. Then I take some black and white baker's twine from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add a little dot of glue, add that baker's twine, let it dry for just a second, and then I just wrap it around the center of the heart twice. Then I'll cut off the excess and glue the end down. And now I'll just make a very simple bow by wrapping the baker's twine around my fingers about 4 or 5 times. And then I'll cut another piece and then just tie the bow off in the center. And then we can glue this right to the middle of one of the hearts. Then glue 1 more heart on top of the bow right in the middle. And this just makes a really cute layered effect. And of course, again, that's optional. You could decorate your cup however you like. So now I'll take a marker and I'm just going to mark how far down I want this to be in the cup. And I'll cut that with the dog nail clippers, that dowel rod down. Then you can either put a little bit of hot glue on this and stick it down in the center or just put it down in the center. I did not use any hot glue. Then we'll cut our flowers down a little bit and start working by putting all of the flowers down into the foam. And again, I just work whatever I do to one side, I'll do to the other. So I just kind of work in a pattern when I'm doing flowers. I'm not really good at arranging flowers, so this just works for me. So whatever I do to one side, I'll do to the other. And then we'll fluff that little bit of towel that's up at the bottom, or at the bottom of the gnome there, we'll fluff it up a little bit. And that's it. It's our cute little gnome flower arrangement. This will look really cute next to a tiered tray or on the top of a tall tiered tray. It would look cute in the corner of a bookshelf. So here's just some close-up shots for you to see what it looks like all done. And now we will go on to our third and final project. Again, we're using the second half of that towel. We're also going to use this little sign from Dollar Tree. And then we'll use some more ribbon. We're also going to either use some poster stickers or the little letter stickers that they have, or you can use Dollar Tree vinyl. We're going to use those table scatter hearts, hot glue, and scissors. And then this time we'll use Mod Podge and a paintbrush. So let's get crafty. So we're just going to take that second half of the towel that we didn't use in the first project, and we're going to just cut the gnome out as close as you can, trying to remove all of the white towel. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to take your time. And then we'll flip him upside down, put some Mod Podge on top, and we're just going to completely cover him in Mod Podge. It's okay if you saturate it and you're able to see it and he looks like he's kind of covered in the white and it almost looks like he's blurry looking because you have so much Mod Podge. That's okay. That's what you want. Flip it the right side and go ahead and glue him down to your sign. You'll have to fold the hat a little bit, but that looks really cute. Actually, I really prefer the hat with that fold in it. I think it looked really cute, made it look more realistic. And then we'll take some Mod Podge and we're just going to completely seal the front and the edges with the Mod Podge again to make sure that he is well adhered to the wood sign. And again, he's going to look a little Frosty here with that white layered Mod Podge there. It's going to be kind of hard to see the color of his hat and stuff with all that white layered on top, that white glue. But when it dries, it'll be nice and vivid, and you won't even know that that Mod Podge was there. So we have them all glued down. Let them dry for just a little bit, and then I made this simple bow. And we're going to add that to the middle of his hat. Also, the table scatter, we'll glue a medium-sized one right to the middle of the bow. And then we'll take one more glitter table scatter, and we will glue that to the heart-shaped pom-pom for his hat. And I'm just using hot glue to attach it. So I used this medium-sized heart, and I actually cut it down a little bit using scissors because I didn't want it to be huge, and it really didn't, the package didn't really have a smaller heart, so I just cut it down with some scissors. And then we'll glue that to the top. I have this Dollar Tree heart sticker. It's layered with a gemstone in the middle. I just peel the back off. I add some extra hot glue, and I glue that to the center where he's holding that other heart. Then I cut out with my Cricut. It says, "Will you be my Gnome?" And it's got some little hearts and stuff. But again, you could use those Dollar Tree stickers. The poster stickers would be quite large, but those smaller stickers that come over by the planners and like the office supplies at the Dollar Tree, they come in lots of different colors. I've seen them in green, blue, red, orange, purple. Those would be great to use here. And it just says, "Will you be my Gnome?" I let him dry overnight, and that is it. This one is very simple and easy to do. So this is our last project. As you can see, the colors got a lot brighter once he dried. And then, of course, our boho wreath and our gnome flower arrangement. And those are all three of our projects today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. Don't forget to check back later to see what's new for this week at the Dollar Tree. Have a great day, everyone.